from within. Hello people, you are on the news channel from the inside. Here you will see what you cannot show and hide. Subscribe to know everything from inside.
The Slavyansk administration announced the statistics of how many Russian attacks on the capital. On the 24th of the fierce and until today, the enemy made 52 repeated attacks on Kiev, damaging over 600 days. At the city, 638 sirens of alarm were lulled, 693 years of 49 violent, and maybe 29 days. Through the war, 120 Kievans perished, 5 children died. 495 Meshkins were injured, 30 of them were children. Great Britain will hand over 1,000 Valin metal detectors and 100 bomb disposal kits to Ukraine. Each day of sanctions for the war in Ukraine cost Russian oligarchs $330 million, The Guardian. The cumulative losses of oligarchs close to Russian President Vladimir Putin are estimated at $95 billion. The most affected was Roman Abramovich, whose fortune decreased by 57% to $7.8 billion. The Ministry of Defense showed for the first time the LRU/M270A1 multiple rocket launcher system, which France handed over to the armed forces of Ukraine at the end of November. She is already working at the front and destroying enemies. Soon, the Ukrainian army will have more such systems, the department is confident. Address of the Minister of Defense of Ukraine Alexei Reznikov to the conscripts of the Russian Federation. He urged the Russians to avoid mobilization at all costs, which, according to the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, will begin in Russia in January. I know for sure that you have about 1 week left, while there is still at least some choice. In early January, the Russian authorities will close the borders for men, then declare martial law and begin another wave of mobilization. The borders will also be closed in Belarus, Reznikov says. Ukraine can continue to count on Germany's support, said Chancellor of Germany Olaf Scholz in his New Year's address to the German people. Today, Ukrainians are resisting Russian aggression and are fighting thanks to the help of Germany as well. The EU and NATO are more united than ever, despite the consequences of the war in Ukraine, which German citizens are also facing. Berlin will continue to support Kiev next year. Although, we all feel the consequences of this war every day in our everyday life, when we shop at the supermarket, at the gas station, or when we pay the electricity and gas bill, said Scholz. Traffic jams on the Crimean Bridge. Hundreds of cars are trying to enter the territory of the peninsula from the territory of the Russian Federation, but due to increased document checks, the queue, which already reaches 5 kilometers, only increases. Elon Musk became the first person in the world to lose $200 billion, Bloomberg. The billionaire's fortune has shrunk amid falling shares of electric car maker Tesla. Back in November 2021, Musk's capital was $340 billion, but in the last weeks of December 2022, it decreased to $137 billion due to the fall in Tesla shares. In general, the value of the company decreased by 3 times during the year. In January, it was estimated at $1.2 trillion. Now, almost $386 billion. Russian propagandists on state television decided to divide Poland, not without references to Stalin and maxims that the European country deserved it. But then the experts suddenly remembered that before taking Poland, you first need to take at least Slavyansk.
С другой стороны, в ином варианте развития событий, но можно совместить. Немножко дать, а все остальное взять, то, что Сталин дал. Вот. Ну, восточную...
Давайте Славянск возьмем сначала, а потом будем земли европейские распределять.
The Russian Federation is preparing another missile attack on Ukraine in the coming days, British intelligence. The occupiers can hit Ukraine during the holidays to undermine the spirit of Ukrainians.
News from within.